I was 8.5 months pregnant, and he punched me. And I said, yeah, this is it. I'm done. And that's when I called the police. I filed for the order of protection. I went through court, the DAs, and he got locked up.
Talk about horses in your recovery.
They gave me something to believe in when I didn't even believe in myself. I had a heart horse that came into my life in 2021. She healed parts of me that I didn't even know needed to be healed. And I was still keeping secrets at that time that I silently confessed to her. She saved me.
Long before a police report is ever called or a crime has been committed, domestic violence could be happening.
He was very passionate and almost like didn't take no for an answer. He wooed me.
For someone who is an offender, they want to come off as being very charming, charismatic.
I'm gonna buy you gifts. I'm gonna drown you in all of these things and experiences. And I just want to pull you wholly 100% into my life.
That love bombing, texting all the time, wanting to hang out all the time can absolutely be a red flag.
If I ever chose to be outside of the house or do something without him, I came to know what would come when I went home.
The offender is going to try to cut off resources so that there is a form of dependency.
It started honestly with the gym, and then it was friends, and then it was my family.
With the emotional abuse, the person is starting to lose their self-esteem.
It was, you've done nothing with your life.
A lot of domestic violence doesn't actually rise to the level of crime, and that's what makes it so dangerous.
I had no access to the bank accounts. I couldn't even go grocery shopping without asking him for money.
Verbal threats turn into physical action.
He came home and there was no precipitating factor. He came in just on a war path. In that moment, I was like, he's gonna kill me.
As we move more quickly through that cycle of violence, we see usually an escalation involving more severe sexual and physical violence.
After a call with the Hyde Park Police Department, there was an advocate that I spoke to. That, I think, was the first person that said to me, Karissa, this is abuse. This is dangerous.
So many times when a survivor calls our hotline, the first thing we're doing is educating.
We do a lot of safety planning because we know it's not always safe to just immediately leave this person.
I was out celebrating a friend's birthday, and a singular text from him, "What have you been doing all day?" sent me into a tailspin. He had surveilled me in the past.
Stalking is very pervasive and also very dangerous. It's a lethality factor.
I was dressed, I had high heels on. I got up, I didn't even say anything to anyone at that party. I went out to my car, I changed my shoes. He knows where I am. Hell is coming.
I've been doing makeup for 14, 15 years now. It just comes very natural to me. Just picturing this as a blank canvas, creating a work of art, seeing their expression when they look in the mirror, that's so warming and just so fuzzy to me. And my body fills up with all this glitter.
You've done makeup for DV survivors, right?
I have. I worked with Grace Smith House, just hearing their stories as I was doing their makeup. I can relate. And I can feel their pain.
There's a variety of things that CVSS helps with survivors.
We have all types of mechanisms, safety plans, therapeutic work, advocacy.
My lowest point was when I was stabbed because I couldn't physically take care of myself or my kids.
What victims tell us is that oftentimes they did not know the level of danger they were in.
This one was different. His voice and his eyes. And it's hard to explain that to people unless they've seen it themselves. It's like that person is just not there.
More than 70% of domestic violence homicides happen after the survivor has left.
I was out of work for 6.5 months because I had to wait for my wounds to heal, especially on my fingers, my chest, my arm.
The advocate is often working with a victim or a survivor to keep them safe and understand kind of what they want to see happen with the criminal case.
Sydney is the high-risk case manager. She's like my go-to person when I need paperwork, just to talk, figure things out.
When our brain is operating in the stress brain, which is fight, flight, freeze, we lose the ability to take in information and process it in a way that makes sense.
You know, going into court, I would freeze up. Seeing him, I was triggered, I clammed up. So having an advocate there and being able to tell me later of what happened, how it happened, because processing that was very hard. Like my brain just like shut down.
In victims of domestic and sexual violence, we see the same brain changes as combat vets.
Mentally, I was messed up. I've never been messed up ever in my life.
I have never watched the video. I can't bring myself to watch it. I tried a few times. I get like 3-4 minutes into it and I'm crying my eyes out. I turn it off. I've never seen my daughter in that state, ever. I didn't have all the information. I didn't have information where someone witnessed Gabby being smacked around. All I had was Gabby telling me that this was all her fault, that she did it. Now, if you understand domestic violence, that's literally what they say. They're the ones that take responsibility. And why do they take responsibility? Because they're afraid of the repercussions afterwards.
I've decided I am not going to cite you for domestic violence battery, okay?
In that video, one of the things that wasn't done was a lethality assessment. And we, to this day, think it would have saved Gabby's life. Today's actually Gabby's birthday. She would have been 27 today. So it's hard to talk about this shit.
Dutchess County became the first county in New York State to implement the lethality assessment program, which is a partnership between law enforcement and victim advocacy.
So URDV handles the coordinated community response to domestic violence in Dutchess County. Really, any agency that deals with domestic violence victims or offenders are at that table. Lethality factors are confirmed by evidence. If any of these factors exist in a domestic violence relationship, that person is more likely to be killed.
So the lethality assessment has actually created this culture shift for law enforcement where they're not just asking about the facts that happened that evening, they're asking to hear about that pattern of abuse that this person is facing.
We're always looking at lethality factors as we work with the different systems to help increase victim safety and offender accountability.
Domestic violence homicides are actually predictable. And so if homicide is predictable, that means it's preventable.
I feel hope now in what's happening in our community. Eyes are wide open. We're seeing this from a different place, or at least starting to. The district attorney is starting to look at this differently and be able to prosecute differently. The specific trainings to give greater insight to what this looks like, how to support individuals in this position.
The more that the community learns about domestic violence and understands the risk factors and just how pervasive domestic violence is, the safer that our community will be.
We will achieve the change that's needed by hearing from survivors.
My kids gave me that hope. Just watching them and seeing them with their day-to-day life, that is an amazing feeling. That I can be able to watch my kids grow and see laws being changed and seeing people speaking up more and knowing that I can change my kids' life, but knowing that I can also change somebody else's.